7 years I was their dad. Then she said, Jason is back. The kids deserve their real father. I taught them to ride bikes. He abandoned them as babies. True off my chest. I don't even know where to start. My hands are shaking as I type this. 2 weeks ago, I came home from work to find my girlfriend of 7 years packing suitcases in our bedroom. The kids were at her mother's house. She'd planned it that way, I realized later. She didn't want them to see this. What's going on? I asked, though something in my gut already knew. She didn't look at me. Just kept folding clothes. Jason is back. He wants to be a family again. The kids deserve their real father. Jason. The name I hadn't heard spoken aloud in years. The ghost who'd haunted the edges of our life together but never materialized. Until now. What are you talking about? I set down my bag. My voice sounded strange, like it was coming from somewhere far away. I'm their father. I've been their father for 7 years. She finally looked at me then. There was something in her eyes I didn't recognize. Resolve, maybe. Or conviction. You've been amazing. You really have. But Jason is their biological father. He's gotten his life together. He wants to make things right. And the kids, they deserve the chance to have their real family. Real family. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab her by the shoulders and shake her until she understood what she was saying. But I just stood there, frozen, watching her pack away 7 years of my life like it was nothing more than a seasonal wardrobe change. I need to give you the backstory. Maybe it'll help you understand why this feels like someone reached into my chest and ripped out my heart. I met my girlfriend when I was 28. She was a single mom with 2 kids, a boy who was 4 and a girl who was 2. Their father, Jason, had left when the girl was just 6 months old. One day he was there, the next, he was gone. No note. No explanation. Just vanished like smoke. She was struggling. Working 2 jobs, barely making rent, relying on her mother for childcare. The kids were confused and acting out. The boy had started having nightmares. The girl cried whenever anyone tried to leave the room. I didn't plan to fall in love with them. Any of them. I was just a guy she met at a coffee shop. We started talking. One coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into more dinners. And somewhere along the way, those 2 scared, abandoned kids became mine. I still remember the first time my son called me Dad. He was 5. We were at the park, and he fell off the monkey bars. Scraped his knee pretty bad. He came running to me, tears streaming down his face, and he said, Dad, Dad, I hurt myself. I froze. Looked at my girlfriend. She had tears in her eyes too, but she was smiling. It's okay, she said softly. He's been wanting to for a while. I told him he could when he was ready. So I became dad. To both of them. I changed diapers. I did night feedings when the girl was sick. I woke up at 3 a.m. to chase away monsters under beds. I made pancakes on Saturday mornings and read bedtime stories every single night. I taught my son to ride a bike, running alongside him until my lungs burned, then catching him when he finally wobbled and fell. I held my daughter during thunderstorms because she was terrified of the noise. I showed up. Every single day, for 7 years I showed up. Jason never did. Not once. No child support. No birthday cards. No calls on Christmas. Nothing. He disappeared so completely that sometimes I forgot he existed at all. To me, to the kids, to everyone who knew us, I was their father. Period. Let me tell you about the financial reality, because I think it matters. 7 years of raising 2 kids isn't cheap. My girlfriend made decent money, but I made more, and I was happy to contribute. More than contribute, actually. I paid for most of it. Private school tuition because the public schools in our area weren't great. Braces for my daughter when she turned 9, $6,000, and I paid every penny. Summer camps. Sports equipment. Dance lessons for my daughter. Little league for my son. I coached his team for 3 years. I started college funds for both of them. Nothing huge, but something. A few $100s a month into accounts with their names on them. I wanted them to have options. I wanted them to have futures. When I sat down and did the math, and believe me, I've had plenty of time to do math lately, I estimate I invested somewhere around $150,000 in those kids over 7 years. Probably more. But that's not why I'm telling you this. I don't want the money back. I'd spend it all again in a heartbeat. I'm telling you because I need you to understand. I didn't just love these kids. I built my entire life around them. Every financial decision, every career choice, every plan for the future included them. And now they're just gone. So about Jason. From what I've pieced together, he left when the girl was a baby because he wasn't ready to be a father. He was 23, immature, overwhelmed. He panicked and ran. Apparently, he spent the next several years bouncing around, working odd jobs, dealing with some substance issues, generally being a mess. Then, about a year ago, he got his life together. Found a steady job. Got clean. Started going to therapy. Realized he'd made the biggest mistake of his life by abandoning his children. He found my girlfriend on social media and started reaching out. She didn't tell me. For almost a year, she didn't tell me they were talking. When I found out, after she dropped the bomb about leaving, I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. All those times she seemed distracted. All those conversations she'd step away to have. A year of secret communication with the man who abandoned her children. Why didn't you tell me? I asked her that night. Because I knew you'd react like this. She was still packing. Methodical. I needed to figure out how I felt first. And then I needed to know if Jason was serious. And now you think he's serious? After 7 years of nothing. After he abandoned his children when they were babies. She stopped. Put down the shirt she was folding. People change. Jason has changed. He's not the same person who left. He's done so much work on himself. He's genuinely remorseful. And he wants to be a father to his children. They already have a father, I said quietly. Me. She looked at me with something that might have been pity. You've been incredible. Truly. But you're not their biological father. Someday they'll want to know where they came from. They'll want to know their real heritage, their real family history, their real. I'm real. My voice cracked. Everything I've done for the past 7 years has been real. I'm not saying it hasn't. She walked over and put her hand on my arm. But this is my decision to make. They're my children. And I truly believe, that giving them the chance to know their biological father, to be a complete family, is the right thing. She believed it. That's the part that kills me. She wasn't being malicious. She wasn't trying to hurt me. She genuinely, sincerely believed that she was doing what was best for her kids by ripping them away from the only father they'd ever really known. The kids' reactions were complicated. My son is 11 now. Old enough to understand what was happening, sort of, but not old enough to have any say in it. When I finally got to see them, the day before they moved out, he hugged me so tight I thought my ribs might crack. I don't want to go, he whispered. I don't even know this Jason guy. Why do I have to call him Dad? I didn't have an answer. I just held him. My daughter is 9. She was quieter about it, which worried me more. She's always been the thoughtful one, the one who processes things internally. She sat on my lap and played with my fingers the way she used to when she was 3. Mom says Jason is our real dad, she said quietly. What do you think? I asked. She was silent for a long moment. Then, I think you're my dad. You always have been. I kissed the top of her head and tried not to cry in front of her. I love you, sweetheart. That's never going to change, no matter what. But here's the cruel part. My girlfriend didn't even let me say goodbye properly. That one conversation, that one afternoon, that was it. Within a week, they were moved out. She'd already found an apartment near Jason's place. Already enrolled the kids in new schools. Already started the process of erasing me from their lives. She blocked my number from their phones. She told me it would be confusing for them to stay in contact with me while they were bonding with Jason. She said maybe, eventually, when things settled down, we could revisit the idea. Eventually. Maybe. The last thing my daughter said to me was, "See you soon, Dad." She smiled when she said it. She didn't know it was the last time. Update 1. 1 month later. A month has passed. It feels like a year. I'm still in the house. Our house. Except it was never really mine alone. It was ours. The kids' drawings are still on the refrigerator. Best dad ever, in wobbly crayon letters. A picture of our family, my girlfriend, me, 2 kids, standing in front of the Grand Canyon from last summer's vacation. My son drew it from the photos. I can't bring myself to take them down. Their rooms are exactly how they left them. My girlfriend took clothes and essentials, but the furniture stayed. The posters. The stuffed animals my daughter couldn't fit in her suitcase. My son's collection of rocks from our hiking trips. I go in there sometimes. Just to sit. Just to remember. 7 years I was their dad. I taught them to ride bikes. I scared away monsters under the bed. I held them when they cried. And now I'm just nobody. Some guy their mom used to date. A footnote in their childhood. The hardest part was finding the Father's Day cards. I was cleaning out a drawer, looking for something mundane, batteries, I think, and there they were. A stack of handmade cards from 7 Father's Days. Best dad ever. I love you, Daddy. You're the best dad in the whole world. They meant it when they wrote them. I know they did. I remember their faces when they gave them to me. The pride. The excitement. The love. Do those feelings just disappear? When you're 9 or 11 and someone tells you that the person you've called dad for 7 years isn't really your dad, do you just stop loving them? I've reached out to a lawyer, by the way. Asked about my rights. The answer was depressing but not surprising. I have no legal rights to those children. I never adopted them. We were never married. In the eyes of the law, I'm nothing to them. Just a man who happened to live with their mother for a while. $150,000 and 7 years, and legally I'm nothing. Update 2. 2 months later. I found out through social media, mutual friends mostly, that they've fully transitioned to their new life. My girlfriend posted a photo of the kids with Jason. Caption, reunited and it feels so good, 2 hearts, so grateful our family is finally complete. Complete. As if the 7 years before didn't count. As if I was just a placeholder, keeping the seat warm until the real dad decided to show up. I've started therapy. My therapist says I'm grieving, and she's right. This is grief. It's the same heaviness, the same suffocating sadness, the same inability to imagine a future that doesn't hurt. She said the kids deserve their real father. I wanted to scream, I am their real father. I'm the one who showed up. Every single day, I showed up. Every school play, every parent-teacher conference, every sick day, every nightmare, every scraped knee, every homework assignment, every bedtime story. I showed up. Jason didn't show up for 7 years. But 1 year of therapy and some heartfelt apologies, and suddenly he's the real father? I've been trying to understand her perspective. My therapist encourages me to have empathy for my girlfriend's position, and I try. I really do. She was abandoned by the father of her children when they were babies. She raised them largely alone until I came along. And now that father is back, claiming he's changed, offering to be the family she maybe always wanted. I can understand why that would be appealing. I can understand wanting to believe in second chances, in redemption, in fairy tale endings. But what I can't understand, what I'll never understand, is how she could look at those children who loved me, who called me dad, who trusted me completely, and decide that erasing me from their lives was in their best interest. Update 3. 3 months later. My son's birthday was last week. He turned 12. I bought a present anyway. A telescope. He'd been fascinated with space for the past year, always asking me about planets and stars and black holes. I used to take him to the planetarium. We'd lie in the backyard and try to find constellations. I have no way to give it to him. It's sitting in my closet, wrapped in space-themed paper, with a card that says, "Happy birthday to my favorite stargazer. Love, Dad." He doesn't know I'm thinking about him. He probably thinks I forgot. Or worse, that I never cared. I reached out to my girlfriend one more time. Sent a carefully worded email asking if I could at least send birthday wishes. The response was cold and brief. "Jason, and I feel it's best if you don't contact the kids right now. They're adjusting well to their new situation. Further contact from you would only confuse them. Please respect our decision." Our decision. As if Jason has any right to make decisions about kids he abandoned for 7 years. My daughter, she was my daughter. She's 11 now. I taught her to read. I walked her to her first day of school. She doesn't even have my number anymore. She probably thinks I disappeared, just like Jason did to them all those years ago. The irony isn't lost on me. The man who abandoned them is now their dad. The man who raised them is now the one who's gone. Jason abandoned them for 7 years. I raised them for 7 years. But biology wins, I guess. Blood beats showing up. Update 4. 5 months later. I've stopped going into their rooms. I finally had to. My therapist said it was part of moving forward, and she was right. But I didn't throw anything away. I packed their things into boxes, labeled them carefully, and put them in the garage. Just in case. Just in case what? I don't know. In case they come back. In case they want their things someday. In case this is all a nightmare I'll wake up from. I've been trying to rebuild my life. I started a new hobby, woodworking. Something to keep my hands busy. Something to fill the silence. I made a bookshelf. A coffee table. Things for a house that feels too big and too empty. I've thought about selling it. Starting over somewhere new. But I can't bring myself to do it. This is the house where my son learned to tie his shoes. The backyard where my daughter caught her first firefly. The kitchen where we made pancakes every Saturday morning, flour everywhere, kids laughing, music playing. Every room is full of ghosts. I've been trying to date again. Not seriously, I'm nowhere near ready for anything serious. But I went on one coffee date. She was nice. Pretty. Easy to talk to. But when she asked if I had kids, I didn't know what to say. It's complicated, doesn't quite cover it. Some of our mutual friends have kept me updated, even though I've asked them not to. I can't help it. I listen anyway. Apparently, things aren't perfect in the new family. There have been some adjustments. My son is acting out in school. My daughter has become withdrawn. The kids are struggling with the transition more than my girlfriend expected. Part of me, a small, shameful part, feels validated by this. But mostly I just feel heartbroken. They're hurting. My kids are hurting. And I can't do anything to help them. I wonder if they think about me. If they miss me. If they understand why I'm not there anymore, or if they think I chose to leave. That's the thought that keeps me up at night. The idea that they might believe I abandoned them, the same way Jason did. I didn't leave. I would never have left. I was pushed out. Update 5. 6 months later. It happened yesterday, and I'm still processing it. I was at work, just a normal Tuesday, when my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Hi. This is your daughter. I had to make a new email and borrow a friend's phone so Mom wouldn't know. I miss you. I'm sorry. I stared at that message for 5 minutes before I could breathe normally. My daughter. My girl. She found a way. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type. I stepped out of my meeting, just walked out without explanation, and found a quiet corner of the office. I miss you too, sweetheart. More than you know. Are you okay? 3 agonizing minutes before her response. I'm okay. School is hard. I don't like it here. Mom says I can't talk to you, but I had to. I had to tell you something. What is it, honey? You're still my dad. You'll always be my dad. I'm sorry Mom took us away. I didn't want to go. I tried to tell her, but she didn't listen. I started crying. Right there in the office corridor. I'm 35 years old and I was sobbing like a child. I called my therapist immediately after. Couldn't wait for our scheduled session. She talked me through it, helped me process, reminded me to be careful about how I responded. To be supportive but not put my daughter in a difficult position. To not make her feel like she has to choose sides. I thought carefully about my response. Typed and deleted it a dozen times. Finally, I love you. I'll always love you. You haven't done anything wrong. This is grown-up stuff and none of it is your fault. I'm so proud of you for being brave enough to reach out. I'll always be here. Whenever you're ready, whenever you need me, I'll be here. She sent back a heart emoji. Then, I have to go. My friend needs her phone back. I'll try to write again when I can. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. She still calls me Dad. Final thoughts. I've had a day to sit with this. To think about what it means and what comes next. I don't know if I'll ever see them again. Not really. Not in any meaningful way. My girlfriend has made it clear she wants me erased from their lives, and she has the legal right to do exactly that. I have no custody, no visitation, no leverage. All I have is love. And hope. My therapist reminded me that kids remember. They remember who showed up. They remember who loved them. And even if they're being told a different story now, even if they're being pushed to accept a new narrative, the truth is written in their hearts. My daughter remembers. Despite everything, the blocked numbers, the new schools, the real family narrative, she remembers. She found a way to reach out. She found a way to tell me she still loves me. Maybe my son will too. Maybe someday. He's older, processing things differently. Maybe he's angrier, or more confused, or more susceptible to whatever story he's being told. But I have to believe that somewhere inside him, there's a boy who remembers Saturday morning pancakes and backyard camping trips and a dad who never, ever left. I didn't lose my kids. They were taken from me. But love doesn't disappear just because someone decides it should. My girlfriend made a choice. Maybe she genuinely believes it was the right one. Maybe she'll realize someday that it wasn't. Maybe the kids will grow up and seek me out. Maybe they won't. I have no control over any of it. All I can control is what I do now. How I live my life. Whether I keep the door open or let it close. I'm keeping it open. I'm keeping the boxes in the garage, the telescope in the closet, the drawings on my heart. I'm staying in the same city, keeping the same phone number, maintaining the same email address. Making myself findable. When they're 18, when they're adults who can make their own choices, I'll be here. When my daughter is ready to reach out openly, I'll be here. When my son is ready to understand what happened, I'll be here. I'll wait. However long it takes, I'll wait. Epilogue. This morning, I went to a coffee shop. The same one where I met my girlfriend 8 years ago. I don't know why. Maybe I was hoping for some kind of closure. Some sense of meaning. I sat at the same table by the window. Ordered the same drink. Watched people come and go with their own lives, their own stories, their own invisible heartbreaks. A woman sat down at the next table with a little girl. Maybe 4 years old. The girl was asking a million questions. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? Why does coffee smell like that? And the mom was answering each one patiently. I watched them for a while. Not in a creepy way. Just watching. Remembering. I remember when my kids asked those questions. I remember the endless why phase, the curiosity, the wonder. I remember being exhausted by it sometimes. Overwhelmed. Wishing they would just be quiet for 5 minutes. I'd give anything to answer those questions now. The woman noticed me watching and smiled politely. I smiled back and looked away. She had no idea. No idea that the guy at the next table was grieving children who were still alive. Mourning a family that still existed somewhere, just without him in it. I finished my coffee and left. Walked to my car. Sat there for a minute before starting the engine. My phone buzzed. For a split second, my heart leaped. Maybe another message from my daughter. But it was just a work email. That's my life now. Hoping every buzz is a message from the kids. Being disappointed when it's not. Living in the space between grief and hope. But you know what? There is hope. That's what I'm holding on to. My daughter reached out. She remembers. She loves me. And somewhere in the city, in their new apartment with their real family, my kids are living their lives. Going to school. Making friends. Growing up. And I'm still in there somewhere, in the memories they're carrying, in the love that doesn't just disappear because someone decides it should. I'm not their father anymore. Not legally. Not officially. Not according to the new story they're being told. But I raised them. I loved them. I showed up. Every single day, for 7 years I showed up. And when they're ready, whenever that is, however long it takes, I'll show up again. That's what fathers do. If you're going through something similar, I'm sorry. I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone. But you're not alone. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: you can't control what other people do. You can't force them to see your love, or value your presence, or make the choices you think are right. All you can do is keep showing up. Keep the door open. Keep loving them, even from a distance. They'll remember. Someday, they'll remember. TLDR, raised my girlfriend's 2 kids as my own for 7 years. Their bio dad came back after abandoning them as babies. Girlfriend left to give them their real family. Got completely cut off. 6 months later, my daughter found a way to message me, "You're still my dad." I'll wait for them. However long it takes. Here's what I learned about fatherhood. It's not about biology. It's about showing up. Every single day, showing up. 7 years I was their dad. I taught them to ride bikes. I scared away monsters under the bed. I held them when they cried. And now I'm just nobody. She said the kids deserve their real father. I wanted to scream, I am their real father. I'm the one who showed up. Every school play, every nightmare, every scraped knee, every bedtime story. I showed up. Jason abandoned them for 7 years. I raised them for 7 years. But biology wins, I guess. Blood beats showing up. The hardest part was finding the Father's Day cards. Best dad ever. I love you, Daddy. They meant it when they wrote them. I know they did. My daughter, she's 11 now. I taught her to read. I walked her to her first day of school. She doesn't even have my number anymore. Then, 6 months later, a message from an unknown number. "This is your daughter." I had to borrow a friend's phone so Mom wouldn't know. "I miss you. You're still my dad. You'll always be my dad. I cried right there in the office corridor. 35 years old, sobbing like a child. I wrote back, I love you. I'll always be here. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here. She sent back, I love you, Dad. She still calls me Dad. I didn't lose my kids. They were taken from me. But love doesn't disappear just because someone decides it should. I'll wait. However long it takes, I'll wait. That's what fathers do.